All right. Here's something. Okay. What high profile athlete personality would you want to be stuck on an island with?
I would say McGregor, but that could get a little testy. That's my only. Yeah.
He's gonna miss kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And I don't want to be
after
the only option, dude.
after a while, you start looking like a proper 12,
Yeah.
and then it's I don't know. Ooh,
Uh,
Steven Adams, maybe.
Steven Adams. Okay, that's a good
Steven
one.
Adams would I think be awesome because hey, guess what? I need that coconut. Steven's got it. He's right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then he's super cool with like how he talks and him being like, hey mate, I like your accent. And then some dude that sounds like hillbilly as hell.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Smalls back on another edition of the Vault, weekly show from Thoughts from the Bench that takes a look back at some of the best and worst jerseys in sports. Returning this week, I feel like it's been too long, Benny. It's my man Benny Buckets. How's it going, bro?
It feels good to be back, brother. Sorry I had to take a step back for a week real quick. But big thanks to Deke, that big doofus, for filling in. He did like at least a 52% job.
Yeah.
So, proud of him for that. But, he's very willing to give time to his better programs, obviously, well, at least finally. But no, I think you guys had a great episode. I love the topic. And you and Deke, that's like one of the easier, like, hey, if one of us can't be here, just
Yep.
throw him in because the chemistry's just there
Yep.
to do something good on camera together.
Yep.
So very, very pleased. But obviously wish that I was able to be on also.
Sure.
But I appreciate you guys covering down for me.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. I was telling Deke, like, I could have asked someone else to come on. Like, I could have asked someone else that hasn't been on, but like, me and him hosted the college football show in the fall, and that, like, we already had that going. And I feel like it's one thing to come on as a guest when there's both of us and a guest, but I wanted to at least keep some sort of familiarity, I guess would be the right word, like continuity, smoothness to the show. So he was the no brainer. If he's second choice, obviously he was second string. I'm not gonna pretend that he was the first string choice, but he was serviceable. I'll give him that.
Hey, you know what? He's playing double A ball.
Yeah.
Okay, double A. Right?
Yeah.
And you yanked him up and you said, look, Sonny, it's your time. Dude came in and I'd say he at least hit a triple. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
so,
dude, he got on base. Yeah, he for sure. He got on base. He's a good pinch runner.
Hey, he came in, he filled in, stepped up, knocked that baby deep.
You thought about it.
Yeah, it was like all the words were there, and then the last one I'm just cliffhanging, and there it was.
Yeah, there it was. Well, Benny, I'm glad to have you back. Your boy is back in the state of Pennsylvania.
Let's go!
So that is like, it feels good to be back. It was a long weekend coming back. It's a long drive from Connecticut, but your boy's back, rearing to go, back and ready to just get after it with a few hopefully upcoming in-person shows, which I'm very excited about. Trying to think if there was anything in sports that like kind of happened this week outside of like March Madness. Dude, St. Peter's. I think we got like St. Peter's that was a story and a half. Dougie Boy was a monster.
Being the last or the first ever 15 seed to make it to the Elite Eight is wild. But this is the one thing because we both are sports bettors, right?
Yeah.
And I've been frustrated with certain bets that haven't fallen or whatever. But I was telling people, I was like, hey, like North Carolina is going to be the team to blow the doors off St. Peter's. People are like, oh, well, all the three teams they beat before them were higher seeded. And I'm like, but they're not North Carolina. North Carolina got a bad seed because it was a bad year for Carolina, who's normally a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But now look, they're in the Final Four. So, but like I kept telling everybody, and they're like, oh, well, what about Kentucky and Purdue and Murray State that were all higher seeds than North Carolina? I said, I was like, okay, fine, but watch that, and then they got beat by like 25.
Yeah,
and so it was just proof to that point. But I mean, it was cool to watch, definitely to see them go, and I loved it. Like they would go back and show like the actual college and like the arena, and that was like the biggest deal to everybody. Like the culture was there, like the environment was awesome.
Yep.
So I definitely rooted for them for a bit, but I knew North Carolina was going to give them the axe. A North Carolina Duke Final Four matchup. You think that wasn't written in history for Mike Krzyzewski? Like that is, that's just, it's going to be nuts, and I'm super excited for the Final Four. And genuinely, out of the four teams, especially from what I've seen, like in the bracket so far this year, is like I still don't know who's gonna win. But
yeah, I did. So I had to pull it up just to make sure, but I had St. Peter's beating Purdue in the Sweet 16 plus 650. That one hit. I did not put it on St. Peter's to beat Carolina because I was like, I think this is kind of where the run ends.
Yeah.
But hey, I was happy getting that one. Notre Dame the first few rounds, I was riding Notre Dame hard. Like really, they were like I had them over Rutgers, I had them over Alabama, and I think they lost in those round of 32. I think
so. Yeah.
So I don't think I put anything on them in that second round, but I know I had them the first two rounds, and I was pretty hyped just to even see them go as far as they did. So, But anyway, Benny, let's jump into it. Are you drinking anything tonight?
Tonight I am not.
That's fine. Yeah.
I apologize.
It's fine. Well, like I could talk shit, but like a few weeks ago I also was not drinking. So like, I can't dish it as much anymore, but
my girlfriend's parents are coming to pick me up alone. So definitely not. I still gotta, I feel like it's like until you get married, you still gotta earn your chops, so any chance that I can give them to think better of me as opposed to, oh, this guy's a drunken idiot. I'm gonna take.
Oh yeah, and you should
initial poison. So.
I just gotta. I already drank a lot of it, but just a whiskey Coke,
Hey, you know what? You know why I love you? Because you were a simple man.
Yep.
It's hey, I know it's good. Why do I need to try all this other stuff? Give me.
Yeah.
Give me the usual.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where you're at, and I love that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm a Bud Light or Jameson kind of guy. It was funny. I think probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, me and my girlfriend were out in Boston, and we were out, we were watching some live music or whatever, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, and I got a vodka soda or something. Immediately regretted it. I was like, why did I do this? Like, this is not what I wanted at all, and I strayed from what I normally got.
Hey, you messed up the recipe, man. You gotta stick with it. So hey, I like that though. You went outside the comfort zone, got uncomfortable, came right back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it happens. Because I feel like when you're in college or before you're a functional adult, you go out to the bar and you get loaded, but you can't just drink. You can't just down whiskey at the bar. First of all, it gets too expensive. Second of all, that's a rough morning the next day. So like in school, I would just I would
Something specifically about whiskey that like
yeah
your hangovers, like you feel the way the alcohol tastes
yeah
in the morning. Like that's how it goes, dude. I swear to God.
yeah, and you just have that cold sweat all day the next day
Yeah.
where you're like
Wow.
uh. But all right, Benny, let's get into it. We'll start with our ad read here. I'll take this one. So this week's topic is brought to you by Marshall Fitness. Um, Will Marshall, good friend of the show, has been sponsoring us for about a year or so now. Great dude. Really knows what he's doing as far as personal training goes. He is the best of the best. He will work with you with whatever schedule you have, whatever goals you have, whatever equipment or gym access you have, or whether you're working out at home or you're going to the gym. Whether you're just looking to maybe shed a few pounds, get back into shape, or just get shredded. Whatever you want to do, he listens to you. He creates a plan just based on what you need. Um, Believe it or not, this is why I wanted to take the ad read this week. Your boy Smalls is finally a Marshall Fitness client. I'm
Let's
actually, I'm
go.
actually, I'm a client now. So Will is currently working with me to put a plan together for the next 8 weeks. So, and I know it's gonna work because I know he knows what he's doing. He's a D1 athlete, uh, and the testimonials gonna speak for themselves. So, go check out Marshall Fitness. Check them out on Facebook or Instagram, which are both listed here. The best time to start is now. And this week's topic brought to you by Marshall Fitness. We are doing dual sport athletes. Definitely, I forget when I came up with this because we even talked about this before until I texted you about it last night. It was a
Yeah.
spur of the moment thing. I was like, that could be something good because there's a lot of like a lot of these guys from like one thing,
Yeah.
and the jerseys don't always like the coolest jerseys. Oftentimes are the ones with athletes that played multiple sports, and it's the lesser known sport that's like, whoa, that's kind of sick,
Yeah. And that's kind of the algorithm. Yeah.
Yeah.
To definitely at least how the looks go for sure. But yeah, I mean we got a lot of good ones on here. And what's also cool, I have no idea what your picks are.
Yeah.
So these are gonna be crazy to me. All mine, I wanted to like I feel like there's some obvious ones on here that unless you got them all, which
Mhm.
I think would kind of be impossible,
Yep.
then like some of these people would just be like, oh, it's all stuff we all know. But I think I picked a couple that like, are not as like universally known.
Yep.
So or I guess like not they were more like flash in the pan things,
Mhm.
you know. So I think it's just cool to see that like pro athletes, like do you know how hard it is to be a pro athlete at one sport, let alone more than one, like
Right.
at the professional getting paid for it level, like
Mhm.
that's crazy. So the fact that any of these people are doing any of these other things is remarkable in and of themselves. It's just I didn't in maybe for honorable mentions at the end, if
Yep.
you didn't get the ones that I'm thinking of, we'd throw them out obviously, but
Yep.
there was like a few that I was like, you know what, for the fans, okay, this week I'm going to dig a little deeper.
Mhm.
I'm going to do some stuff that slips your mind,
Yep.
just to maybe accentuate what this topic is all about.
Yep. Yeah, no, I there were I think there were definitely two that I was gonna go with. I had the picture saved on my phone, right? And I didn't send them to you for a reason. Part of it was because I was kind of deciding on which ones I wanted to do. I had some in mind. Um, but really the main reason was I wanted to see your reaction because I two of mine are ones I think one's probably a given, but like two of mine are ones that are so cool and so kind of out of left field, that and
Yeah.
like I dug pretty deep. I definitely thought about this one a good bit because there's a lot of cool shit out there with dual sport
Yeah.
athletes. So, without further ado, Benny, let's get started. What do you got for pick one?
Hey, this is my first one. I'm coming in hot, and it might be my favorite actually. Chad Ochocinco / Johnson, however you remember him. Dude was an entertainer through and through on the athletic and theatric levels. As you can see here, we have Chad Johnson, who most of you know is being the record and ankle breaking future Hall of Fame jacket wearing, cha cha dancing, gold grill having touchdown scorer for the Cincinnati Bengals. But after he retired from the National Football League, I think this was it might have been in between his Patriots and his Dolphins stint. Because I think then he tried going back and the Dolphins didn't work out, whatever. But he was actually signed by the MLS team, Sporting KC, who used to be the Kansas City Wizards, by the way. But then they went to Sporting KC to have a more professional look or whatever. He had a tryout with them, and he played in 2 friendly scrimmages that they did. Never got to actually stay with the team, but I think it's still pretty cool because Chad Johnson, like in interviews and stuff, and he said, if any of you have ever seen I Am Athlete, he's on that with Brandon Marshall, and he always says that soccer was his first love. That was the sport that he wanted to do professionally growing up. And he just ended up being better at football. But he was like, hey, I have an opportunity to at least say that I was, even for a day, on a professional soccer team, and he did it. And I think that's pretty cool. And obviously, like the Bengal uniforms, I actually like. I mean, we're supposed to hate them because we're in the AFC North, and I do. But like, I always liked the black and orange and the tiger stripes and things. I always liked their uniforms. So that's obviously a classic one, nostalgic for the 2000s with the Bengals. And then the uniform on the right-hand side that he's wearing, I actually like his white undershirt as an accent because of some of the white stripes and highlights on the uniform. And then it being that dark blue, and I really like the logo up there. Like he in the font of the letters is awesome too. Or excuse me, of the numbers, is really cool looking. So both of these, like he looked good in, and he was able to compete at both pro levels. One was his childhood dream. One was the one that he was better at. And even though he was a Bengal and, we're Steelers fans, he's somebody that's just easy to love or easy to hate. Like it's one or the other, but he was just such a polarizing figure in football. Getting to see him go and do something with a professional soccer team is pretty cool too.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I do really like the Bengals uniforms. And it's not even really a critique. I just think it would be really cool if they kept the tiger stripes, but made the helmet white. I think that would look cool.
I think for away games, but I like it being orange for the home.
I agree.
Like if they're wearing white jerseys, they can. Okay, so here's the thing: would you leave the helmet white with the black tiger stripes, or white with orange tiger stripes at that point?
I think I would keep them black.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would keep them black. Orange, I don't think would pop as well. Like black on white, I think would really hit. Especially if it had like that matte finish. I think it would look sick. But yeah, and then dude, it's super impressive that he was even signed. Because it might sound like trivial or whatever that they signed him on like as like a practice squad guy or even like he just played in a few friendlies. You might just say that it's a publicity thing or whatever. The MLS is, as much as people might kind of shit on the MLS, it's the real deal. Like these guys are professional athletes.
Well, and that's the thing, man, is I feel like a lot of people, because it's not a popular league, people see it as like people go hoop at LA Fitness. Like it's like they see it is like kind of like a candy ass organization, and it's still the professional league of a sport that is in our country. Like that'd be like if everybody just talked about the MLS, they do the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, the NHL. Like it's like it's crazy that it gets that much slander. But I mean, to be fair, they haven't put out a super entertaining product for a while.
It's like, getting a lot better. I will say
it is getting a lot better, but it's like we had to bring in one player at a time, and it was like because we had Beckham and Zlatan was here, and Pirlo came here, and like there was like all these guys that came over that were huge overseas, and to try and draw attention and things like that. And it's just like, um, I I like wish that we either didn't have to do that or more people wanted to come play
Yep.
here. But the way that America just views the MLS, I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, it does suck that like the big names that do come over are kind of at the tail end of their career, right? Like Beckham
Yeah,
wasn't the Beckham that he wasn't the Beckham of old when he came over. Like Zlatan,
not
kind of the same. Although Zlatan didn't really slouch that much, I will say that Zlatan was still Zlatan when he played in LA. But
yeah. I was gonna, and he killed
oh
in
yeah,
LA too.
oh yeah. But even you look like Schweinsteiger came over at one point.
Wayne
Pirlo,
Rooney.
yeah, Wayne Rooney, Pirlo, like all these guys, they kind of come over at the end. But like in it, that part of it kind of sucks. But at the same time, you're getting eyes on TV, and like some of these MLS fan bases are rabid. Like
Oh yeah,
like the MLS has the fans, and it is getting a lot better too. So, and again, dude, I feel like I was decent in high school. Like I got some looks from colleges, probably not nowhere that I wanted to play, but like I got some looks. I was decent. I could never touch the MLS because it is
yeah.
such a high. The best player I've ever played against growing up in Pittsburgh. He went to USC. I'm not gonna say his name on here. He is in the Division Two. He's in Division Two MLS or whatever USL. I think he's in the USL. He's not even Division One. He's the best player I've ever seen or played against. He's still not even touching these guys. So
Yeah,
like, there's something to be said about like guys that make it all the way to the top. So it's
absolutely.
super impressive that Chad Johnson was actually able to even like sniff the field. He played in two scrimmages.
And he played. He
Yeah.
played. They just, he didn't meet the cut, but to even get that tryout
Mm-hmm.
is crazy.
Mm,
So
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Let's go to my first pick. So Ben, like I said, I did not show you this one.
okay.
Digging a little deep. Okay, so I'm going with Carlin Isles. He was a USA track runner, and he plays on the USA Rugby Sevens team. This is definitely out of left field, and I get that. A lot of people might not know who this guy is. However, I'm gonna try to pull up a clip so everyone can see who this guy is. But this guy is known as the fastest rugby player in the world. This guy, he plays a different sport than everyone else that plays rugby. And so he started out as a track runner, and actually, believe it or not, he played college football too. I forget, it was some small school that he went to, but he played college football. Started running track at whenever he moved to rugby in 2012, I think. Right before he switched over, he had the 36th fastest time for like the 100 meters or something. So this guy's no joke. He is quick. He's super fast. Then you see him go to the rugby team, the rugby sevens team, and like I said, he literally looks like he is playing a different sport because he is outrunning everyone. At this moment in time, he had for like the career tries record, which is anyone doesn't know rugby, that's like basically the equivalent of a touchdown, right? You go, that's like their big score, right? He leads the USA Rugby all time in career tries. This guy is no joke. He knows the game, and he's fast as fuck. You look at the jersey for USA Rugby too, kind of sleek. I like it. Like it's definitely not flashy, but it gets the job done. Like this is a jersey that I would buy because it's different. It's kind of out there, and like
Yeah.
you look at it, and it's just kind of cool. And he probably looks way faster in this than he would in a lot of other rugby uniforms out there. So this
Yeah.
is my first pick. I know I definitely out of left field, but like I love this guy.
Like sit it in foul territory, jump the fence, and was like, "Hey, I'm here." That's how far left field it came out of. But I really do like it actually, and like you said, all the things to point out about the rugby uniform are sick. So I like this pick, and I liked that it was different in a head scratcher. So I'm all for it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up the clip here. So I just want to show everyone how fast this guy actually is, right? So look at this guy. Like these guys aren't even touching him. Like he is like the fastest man on earth. He literally makes it look like he's playing a different sport.
Jeez, oh man.
Like literally no one can touch him. Like he's so fast. He's so fast.
He's an animal.
He is crazy, dude. Like that's just it's too easy, you know? Like
Yeah.
and now and then he just kind of fucks with people. He's just kind of like, okay, let me just taunt these guys a little bit. Like this guy is a G. Like he is like legitimately Olympic level speed on a rugby pitch or field or whatever they call it. Like this guy's an animal. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's dope, dude. And it's like unfair how fast he is.
Yeah.
But hey, more power to him.
Yeah. I think this is only our second rugby jersey on the show. So I think you had one. So like
for not even this past St. Patty's Day, last St. Patty's Day.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Benny, what do you got for pick 2?
All right, number 2. This one's gonna get some mixed reviews, I think. But let me just for Tim Tebow real quick. As you all know, Tim Tebow, arguably, you can say whatever you want about his pro career, arguably one of the best college football players in the history of college football.
Yes.
Just electric. I got to see his national championship wins and in the way that like he played and just electrified every place that he walked into. And then his path to the NFL, falling late in the first round of the draft, Denver taking a shot on him actually doing pretty well, but not well enough, bounce around the league, whatever. Then it was like, hey, you know what? The NFL doesn't want me. I'm going to go do TV work. So he still does, but he was just, going and working on TV and doing analysis of college football and all this stuff. And then he decides, you know what? Hey, I was pretty good at baseball growing up. I'm going to go do that. And then he goes and he's actually able to sign a minor league deal with the Mets is like a 32-year-old man or whatever. Like that's so late in the process. There's kids getting recruited in high school at 16 to play in the MLB right now. You know what I mean? So for him to make that transition so late and actually do like pretty well, in addition with the fact that I didn't throw his college jersey into this, but there is a pattern of him at Florida, him in Denver, and him in New York, all orange and blue. So that's something to think about also, how he's really had that uniformity. Don't know if that was on purpose. That would be hilarious if it was. But if it was just God's plan, then and that's what his life was supposed to be like, then I guess that's pretty cool. But getting to do both of those sports and take a lot of criticism as a person simply because he was like, hey, I like God, is like kind of crazy to me. People like extra hate him for that for whatever reason. No idea why. But he still captured an audience, whether you loved him or hated him. And people do hate him out there, which I don't know if he's ever given anyone a reason to do so other than fans of teams that were in the SEC while he played at Florida.
Yep. Okay. I'll interrupt you for a second. Steelers fans also hate him.
Okay, well, that was Ike Taylor's fault. So he got burnt by Demaryius Thomas, and he took it to the house. R.I.P.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. But like, it's just the fact that like Tim Tebow did not even come close to panning out in the NFL. And even when he went to Jacksonville as a tight end, everyone's like just rolling their eyes again, like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go again. But like, it's just the fact that it was Tim Tebow, the guy that could not make it as an NFL quarterback, that had the name, but he had nothing really to back it up. That's the guy that beat us in whatever year that was. It was what, like 2012 or no? It was like 2009, 2010.
I thought it was 11.
It might have been. It probably was. Yeah, but like
No,
regardless,
because 10 we went to the Super Bowl.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But it's that's why I think Yinzers are salty about this guy. Get rid of the God stuff. It's more just because this guy just lucked out. I mean, God was watching him that day. I'll give him that much. The prayers really worked out that day. But like, yeah,
Yeah, now God and Demarius are telling him
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, R.I.P.
Because Demarius is he's dead.
Yeah. Whoa. Damn. Um. Yeah, but no, Tebow, like you said, love him or hate him, which again, like you said, he really hasn't given people any reason to hate him outside of just being outspoken about his religion, which
Yeah, he's actually like a super nice guy.
yeah, he seems like a good dude. It's just with that brings a lot of criticism, I guess. But say whatever you want about him. Period. His days of Florida were electric. Like they were
Crazy.
and that was a time when UF was they were on top of the world as far as like big time D1 sports go, dude. That was back to back national championships in basketball. The football team was outrageous. I mean, he won the Heisman his second year.
And he still got two trophies. One that he subbed in.
Yep.
Because that was when Chris Leak was ahead of the team. And then he came in and they won, and then he won the other one. I mean, dude is just he is a legend in the college football game. It never really transferred anywhere else, but I don't think anyone can dispute that he was a natural athlete, though. Mm-hmm. Like it's sure he might not have been the best fit at quarterback or whatever, but the dude was a freak athlete. His speed, strength, and athleticism were like crazy for a white kid, to come out and just like he was Christian McCaffrey before Christian McCaffrey, but as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And it was like, dude, this guy's an enigma. And you knew like he's just going to have to be a pro athlete of some sort. And though he may not have claimed stardom like a lot of people thought he would, he still did it though, So I think that's the thing. Like you were saying, is a lot of people don't understand that like making a pro sport, training your whole life for that one thing is hard enough, let alone doing it in two different sports is like insane and super admirable.
Yeah. So I'll touch on the uniform real quick. The Broncos have one of my favorite looks in football, and I don't know why, but it always looks good. I can't.
Me too.
Yeah, I can't complain about it. Let me ask a question though. So, do you think now that the NFL has changed the way it has, do you think Tim Tebow, had he come out 10 years after he did, do you think he would have made it as a quarterback? Because you got to think about it. Back in the day, like back in 2009, 2010, 2011, quarterbacks did not look like Tim Tebow. Now you look at guys like Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. Like you look at all these guys that can run around and sling it. Do you think he would have made it? I think he would have had a better chance in today's NFL. I think he might have been, and I can't say this definitively, but I think he might have been before his time.
Yeah, if the world had no knowledge of Tim Tebow, and he just came in now, then I think that like he would succeed because there are guys in the NFL now, or at least since he's been out of the NFL as a quarterback, that I've been like, oh man, I feel like Tebow's better than that guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and it's I know he didn't pan out, but I mean, what can you do? I think that some of that was his talent level, and then I also think he got a little blackballed also,
Yep.
and it was just like it's funny because I feel like he became a media problem for a locker room, but
Yep.
it wasn't because of him even. It was like it was the way the media reacted to like, hey, this guy just seems like a genuine dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. My yeah. Ben, have you ever seen the SNL sketch with Taron Killam as Tim Tebow?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, where
yeah.
like Jason Sudeikis is Jesus, and like he's like, "Whoa, whoa, back up, buddy! Like it's fine, it's fine. You don't have to praise me all the time." I don't know. That's like one of my favorite SNL skits like ever. But yeah, Tim Tebow, legend.
Tim, my name's Smalls. I've been drinking some Tito's.
I I mean, yeah, sure. I only had one. I don't even have a refill, so maybe the rest of the episode will go a bit smoother. But all right. Move on to our next pick. Smalls' second pick
Here's a good one.
is Herschel Walker. Georgia Bulldogs, obviously, and had a great NFL career, but also the USA bobsled team. I didn't actually know this till I started researching. Um, Having said that, Herschel Walker, obviously legend in college football. Period. He was a Heisman winner. Took the Bulldogs to a national championship. Actually, believe it or not, my boys at Penn State beat him in '82, but that's kind of beside the point. He was an electric factory as a college football running back. Even when he got to the pros, he was the big name that the USFL drafted back when that was a thing for like 2 years. He played for the New Jersey Generals for like a year or two, or however long that thing lasted. Came to the NFL, started playing for the Cowboys, actually moved to fullback because Tony Dorsett was still in Dallas at the time. So they split carries essentially, and essentially Herschel Walker drove Tony Dorsett out of the starting running back position. Walker ended up taking more carries than Dorsett. He was actually involved in a trade, I think, with the Vikings that involved it was Herschel Walker for five. Yeah, I think it was 5 Vikings players plus I think 6 future draft picks. That's how electric this guy was in the NFL as well. He was dominant. And then in '92, he just decided to take, just a quick sabbatical and train for the USA bobsled team. He competed in '92, and I think it was France. Um, his team, his team came in 7th, but you got to put it in context here. This dude was an NFL running back that became a member of the USA bobsled team and still came in. He was he was part of the 7th best bobsled team in the world. That is crazy. That
Yeah.
is absolutely insane. So just looking at obviously the jerseys real quick. The Georgia uniform is awesome. There's something unique about that red because it's not quite the red that you see everywhere else. It's just a little brighter. The G, I love the G. Not a big Packers fan, even though it's the same logo. But there's something that hits different about the Georgia G on the
Yeah,
helmet.
it's that color. It's that color scheme, I think.
Absolutely. But like the G is awesome. And then dude, look at this sweatsuit. This is just pure vintage over here. It is awesome. Like I this is something that I would wear now just because of the pure vintage side of things. But like not only that, I didn't even get to this. Herschel Walker ended up being an MMA fighter in Strikeforce and went 2-0 with 2 knockouts. That's He's 60 now, and he could literally go toe to toe with a lot of guys.
Yeah, he's an animal all the way around. I actually got to meet him, and he was doing like a USO tour type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I was stationed in Montana, and I got to meet him and shake his hand and talk to him about different things, and that's where I got to learn a lot about him. Was he did like a public speaking thing, and then we got to talk to him after, and he's a big for the troops guy, so obviously I like that. But like he's a really good dude, and just a specimen of an athlete. Like I said, I mean, you listed most of his resume. I mean, the guy is just the consummate professional athlete and can do everything. I mean, I feel like he's one of those guys who, like I said, is just a natural born athlete. Like they could pick up any sport and be good at it. So, and he was a legend in college football. And honestly, even though it wasn't as much as college, still made a pretty big dent in the NFL. So, I mean, and like you said, that guy is still kicking ass at 60. So, he's just an absolute beast.
Yeah, I love two things off his resume too that I found out. So he's a 5th-degree black belt in Taekwondo, which that's just another thing to add. That's just what the hell, dude. And he's also running. He's running for office for one of the Georgia seats. He's running for office in 2022. So like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Herschel, the boy. Beast, absolute beast. Dude, he's 60. He still looks like he might be 30. Like,
yeah,
he's
looks
ageless.
great for his age.
He's absolutely ageless.
Timeless classic.
Absolutely. All right, Benny, let's go to your third and final pick. What do you got?
This one I had to bring on for my boy JR. Okay, JR Smith, professional athlete, used to be like a dunk beast. Especially when he played in New York and Denver, when he was a Nick and a Nugget, he was the guy who was like yamming on people, and then further into his career when he went to Cleveland and LA and places like that, he became more of a sharpshooter. He won the 2016 NBA championship with the Cavs, and I would say was arguably the third best player on the team. Well, fourth best player on the team, behind LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love. But even still, at that time, like Cavs, J.R. Smith was in his prime. And this is actually my favorite uniform he's ever worn for a team. This Cleveland uniform is one of the few that actually goes hard. Most of their stuff I don't like. But this black alternate from, I think that was like 2018 or 2019, they came out with that, something like that. I really dig them still keeping the red and the yellow, but making it darker and then having the black base of the uniform is awesome. That's probably my favorite look that the Cavs have. And JR all tatted up, sharpshooting and dunking on people's heads. He really looked the part there. And then also, going to the fact that this guy is going back to college. And not only is he going back to college, he's going back to college to golf at North Carolina A&T. Right? That's what it is, right?
Yep.
And so he is making the journey, and he said that he's going to play college golf, and if it goes well, he wants to try and get on tours and be on the pro tour. And I think that that's incredible. And especially like JR is it all tatted up, super like nonchalant, like thug type dude from the NBA. The last sport that people are picking for him to do also is probably golf, just because he embraces that like almost like street mentality that people have towards him or whatever, and like he acts like that, and then he's like, actually, I'm gonna go back to school and golf. Like completely flipped the script. But I like that JR. He's super honest. Like he's a really cool dude, and I respect him for the way he carries himself and this transition that he's made. And obviously, I mean, hey, that navy blue golf shirt, I like their little logo on there. The shorts, are prime, especially for that warm, muggy air down there in North Carolina. But the bags they all get that are a part of the school uniform too, and I think that the bag is sick. So altogether, I like his golf fit, and that's my favorite look of him from when he was in the NBA. So J.R. Smith is one I felt like needed. He needed the boost. I didn't have too many like super obvious ones on there, but this is a guy I wanted to help out.
Yeah.
And I think that this is an important one, especially in recent history.
Yeah, but I remember when this story came out, and I don't want to say like shocked, but I mean, this is not what you think. Like a guy going back to college and playing collegiate golf after coming from the NBA, a very well-known player in the NBA. It's not like this guy was a scrub. Like but he wanted to go back and and finish school, get his degree, and he wanted to play golf. And he still had eligibility, so like, why not? He was
Yeah,
good enough to get on the team. So like that, it's pretty impressive.
that's something. Yeah,
It's definitely something. Yeah, like you said, the Cavs jersey, that is, I think, probably their best look. Period. The black with just the C, that's
yeah.
a solid, solid, solid jersey. So absolutely love this pick. Great way to round it out.
Thank you, brother.
So let's go to my last pick. I gotta go.
Had to do it.
Had to. Um, so I'm gonna go Bo Jackson. Uh, obviously. So first of all, Bonos. That is like the famous Nike tagline that everyone knew back in the day, right? This dude is probably the best athlete of all time, if we're being completely honest. He's the only player to ever be named an all-star in both football and baseball. The dude was an absolute freak. He won the Heisman at Auburn. And while at Auburn, it's actually kind of known that he kind of liked baseball a little more than football. And I think his junior year, he hit like his batting average was like 401 or something crazy. Like it was not, he was no slouch on the diamond. So much so that he got drafted um, to go play for the Royals at the time. And he became an all-star. I think he was a two-time MLB all-star for the Royals. And first of all, you say whatever you want about like, his time or his short career. All I'm going to say here is that this dude was literally, he was so powerful, so explosive that pretty much his explosiveness was the sole reason that he got hurt and couldn't play professional sports anymore. If you watch his final injury while he was on the Raiders, the dude grabbed his leg and he had so much power in his legs that he literally popped his own hip out. It was like one of those freak things that ended a career, but like it just spoke to how much of a freak this dude was. And like I said, on the diamond, no slouch. Obviously the Raiders classic look, very plain but to the point. Really, the logo was growing up. My grandfather was a huge Raiders fan, so I kind of grew up just knowing the logo. The logo, in my opinion, is one of the best in the NFL, just because it's so recognizable, right? And I gotta tell you, down at Auburn, I visited Auburn to go to a football game. Probably about 3 years ago now. The Auburn Bo Jackson baseball jersey is everywhere down there. It is everywhere, and in my opinion, it's one of the best looking jerseys in college baseball. Period. Just because it's so it's easy, it's simple. You got the the swoop underneath. Just that classic baseball look. The orange and blue work really well together. It is just such a cool jersey. This is like actually on the bucket list for me. I want a Bo Jackson Auburn baseball jersey just because it's one of those things that it's so cool knowing that he also played baseball and he was really good in college. Like he was
Yeah,
exceptional to the point where scouts were like his only knock is that he doesn't have as much experience as a lot of other prospects.
yeah. And I mean, when you have raw natural talent, again, another just natural athlete, and that's what I think. Like all these players that we've brought up have in common is that they're the type of athlete that they're a super athlete. They're above most because they probably could do any sport and do all right, and especially ones that are highly proficient in more than one and getting to that professional level, which Bo did and is probably the most successful two sport athlete, like
Hmm.
successful in both sports. I think of anybody that we covered or would cover. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this guy had to be there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if Ben. I don't know if you've ever seen the 30 for 30 on Bo Jackson, but it is like
Yes.
eh, the dude just did things that you don't see. Like whether it was him on the Royals snapping a wooden bat over his knee, which
Yeah.
is insane. And then you also go back to his Auburn days playing football where he was just warming up, screwing around, and he literally threw the ball out of the stadium. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane athleticism. Like, he was a freak in nature. And one thing that people probably didn't know, I'm sure he worked hard, but like he didn't like the weight room. All he liked to do was just he liked archery. That's like his main passion is just archery. So he would just stand in his backyard and just practice. He would just shoot. And that's one of the reasons he was so strong, because all he would do is just shoot his bow. Like, the guy,
Yeah.
he's such a freak because he didn't even have to work. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure he worked hard, but he didn't have to work that hard. He wasn't a gym rat, which is crazy when you just see how he looked. Like, he looked like a dude that was just the
He
first
was a
dude in the
Greek
gym.
god.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
Greek god. Period. But yeah, the Auburn baseball jerseys, like, one of the things that I want so bad. All right, just to recap, if I had to pick, Ben, I think your best pick was definitely Ochocinco. If I had to pick one,
Yeah. Yeah. I had to come out hot for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
And for you, that's tough. Me, I feel like it's got to be Bo though.
Yeah,
I feel like the Bo split because the Raiders is just such a classic bold uniform, and Auburn's is clean as hell. So I feel like that might be the one. Most creative, definitely your first one. And then Herschel, like I said, I mean, I like that guy a lot. He was awesome like just as awesome in person as what I've seen on TV.
Yep.
So definitely love that pick also. So I think we all came with some ones that not a lot of people were expecting. Did you put wow. Did you put honorable mentions on here, or
I did not, but I was gonna ask what else we left off. Yep.
So I'm glad we were
Yep.
right there. Dion Sanders.
Yep.
For
Easy.
sure. Because he was the only person to play in a Super Bowl and a World Series. That is pretty impressive. His uniforms in Atlanta were incredible. That's one of my favorite looks. Is for baseball anyway. Is Atlanta's over
Absolutely.
the years. And then obviously, probably the Falcons uniform. Just that old choppy Falcon with the black and red bold, like that was just, oh man, it was awesome. Or the black and white and red. They really killed it then, and so did Dion. Dion's one of the most respected athletes there. And then obviously, we got MJ.
Yep.
But because I think we've included MJ in a couple episodes,
that's why I didn't do it. Yeah.
It was like everybody already knows. You know what I mean? So that one could have been an HM for us. Do you got anybody else?
Yeah, I was thinking Tony Gonzalez, because he obviously legendary tight end, but he also played college basketball at UC Berkeley. Jimmy Graham's another one.
Antonio Gates did also.
Antonio Gates, yeah. A lot of tight ends that ended up playing college basketball. That seemed to be the theme there. But then there were some other ones too. There were a few guys that ended up being boxers, and I had a few other ones. Dion was obviously on my list, but and so was MJ. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there were any other major ones, and I was trying to include ones that were more modern, because I mean, you got who was the dude? Jim Thorpe was like the obvious one, but like, what kind of uniform are you gonna pick for that guy? Like, but like, they were definitely what the pattern I was seeing. Like Kyler Murray obviously played baseball as well.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Tom Brady got drafted by the Montreal Expos.
Yeah.
So that also is a thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, the theme I was seeing was baseball and football. Seemed to be kind of the duo that everyone kind of had, right?
Yeah.
But just because I feel like it kind of lends itself to, if you're a quarterback, you obviously have an arm, so you can play ball.
Yeah.
But Uh, but
I'm
yeah,
just happy you didn't put Brandon Whedon down.
yeah, that would have been tough, dude. That would have been real tough. But yeah, I think we got it pretty. I think we got the. I'm glad I went a little off track with a few of mine, just because you had some obvious ones in there, but I wanted to kind of change it up a little bit. So, um,
Yeah,
but
I think we did a good job. I think we were very creative. We
yep,
threw some ones in there that people might have forgot about or never heard of.
yep,
Um, and I don't know. I love the topic. As soon as you sent it to me, I was like, yes,
yep.
that's what we got to do. So, yeah, man, I'm super happy with how things turned out.
Oh yeah. So another great episode, Ben. Glad to be back in the Berg. We'll be,
Hey,
yeah,
we're so close
so close.
to where these screens are one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I already I got the setup on OBS and everything ready. So
All right.
we'll be ready to go. Just got to find a day for us to do it. So, Ben, it's been a good one. Guys, it's been the Vault. Show that takes a look back at some of the best and worst jerseys in sports. As always, go subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the link whenever you see it out. Be a friend, tell a friend, all that stuff. Ben, do you have anything else to say for the people before we head out?
Share this
Nice.
and make sure that you expand our audience. If you enjoy our product, let somebody else in on the fun because uh, it doesn't make sense not to.
Yeah.
Okay. Please, if you like the show at all, try it out. All it takes is a couple clicks. And if you post it and there's no response, I don't think anybody's going to judge you either. So you might as well take the chance. We would greatly appreciate it. Smalls, I want to congratulate you on being back in the great state of Pennsylvania. I'm looking very forward to what we're going to be able to do together throughout the next year or so. So I'm super stoked. I think we're in a good place, and I'm already ready for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Peace.